Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm Go Local News editor Kate Nagel, joined by a very special guest today, former New England Patriot Joe Andruzzi, who's going to be taking part in the BIF 17 Summit coming up this September. Now, as you may know, we've had several guests who are taking part so far as part of this BIF Summit speaker series. So Joe, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
I have a little intro here because most folks know your esteemed football history. Undrafted free agent picked up by the Packers, released, snapped up by the Patriots in 2000, went on to play 5 seasons, earning 3 Super Bowl rings. Where are the rings?
Locked up.
He did not bring them in. But then there's the other story with Joe, which some of you may know. Let's go back to 2001. Joe met C.J. Buckley, a young man with an inoperable brain tumor. His passing inspired him and his wife Jen to launch the C.J. Buckley Brain Cancer Research Fund at Boston Children's Hospital. Andruzzi's football career ended in 2007 when he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of non-Hodgkin's Burkitt's lymphoma. Now cancer-free, Joe and his wife Jen founded the Joe Andruzzi Foundation in 2008 after witnessing the stress that cancer can cause families firsthand. The foundation works to lift cancer's burden by providing financial assistance to patients and families. Since its inception, the foundation has raised more than $11 million and assisted more than 6,500 families struggling with cancer, and donated more than $7,500 to help fund pediatric brain cancer research at Boston Children's Hospital.
It's amazing work. I'll finish. That number actually rose already. It's over 7,000 families and individuals with home end bills. You know, the financial distress that sometimes is forgotten about when you're caring for a loved one. Mortgage, the rent, utilities all still need to be paid, and I was fortunate enough to play in the NFL and get paid very well to do that. And sitting in the hospital, my wife actually started the foundation and researching and wanted to do more and touch lives. And when I got back on my feet, wanted to put cancer behind me until I met a young boy and his mom to inspire them, and had the same cancer as I did, and to turn around, and we started the Joe Andruzzi Foundation in May 2008, and it's been absolutely remarkable on what she has done for this foundation, and bringing in starting from our house, and having now a staff and a whole bunch of people helping us out through many ways of fundraising, because the almighty dollar helps us move forward and pay it forward. But we have a lot of supporters out there who really help us pay it forward. For me to be the face to walk into a hospital and get a hug from a complete stranger is truly amazing. And just a matter of fact, I was pumping gas in my truck a couple weeks ago, and somebody came out of nowhere to give me a hug because they recognized me, and it's amazing. And knowing what we do on a daily basis and paying it forward and helping those families that are in need, it's truly amazing work that the foundation and the people that work there are really doing, and can't thank our supporters enough, along with our once again our staff and our board members.
Now, it was the foundation that brought you to BIF. Now, it was Saul Kaplan's wife, Susan, serving on the foundation, brought kind of 2 great entities together. The foundation, you and your work and your experience, your life experience in this summit, which brings people to really tell their story. So talk with us about how you got brought into BIF.
I met with Saul, and he loved hearing my story, and wanted to bring me in for BIF this year. And knowing how much my wife has loved it, each year she's went and gets inspired by every speaker that gets up there on stage, I couldn't say no. And for me, I'm looking forward to going out there and inspiring people. It's about life. And with me, as you mentioned, I was undrafted rookie free agent, and I went to a small Division II school, so I kind of compared life like a roller coaster. I got in the league, I got injured right away, and when you get injured, you go down, and you're not practicing. There's no way to make the team. But fortunately enough, they saw enough, and they kept me on the team in Green Bay. 3 years there, and unfortunately, it is the NFL. It's not for long, and you had to change teams. But fortunately enough, it was the New England Patriots at the time. Came here in 2000, and 3 out of my 5 years here, we made it to the Super Bowl, and during the first year was 2001. I have 3 brothers that are New York City firemen, and I'll never forget that Tuesday, 9/11, and it's chokes me up even just to talk about it, knowing I was sitting in a dentist chair at the time, matter of fact, and I just had a gut feeling that one of them was there. One of them was there, and one was one of the first responders in Tower 1. Thankfully enough, he was running out when the building was falling behind him. But to have them there with me in the Super Bowl in New Orleans that year, I got a great picture of all of us holding up that trophy because they're a part of that trophy as much as myself and my teammates, because it's a long, grueling season. And for me and my family, it was extremely long and grueling. And then fortunately enough, we were able to do that 2 more times out of the next 3 years. It was an amazing run we had. And once again, my contract was up, and they chose to let me go to free agency, and went and finished my career with Cleveland. After Cleveland, wasn't feeling good, and played 10 years and was training to go play for my 11th, and went to the doctor, and within a couple of tests, I was diagnosed with cancer.
What was your reaction? Did you even think that could be a possibility?
Not at all. I had a stomach pain, and believe it or not, the only thing that brought me to the doctor, I was constipated. And by the time I took my test on May 16, 2007, I was diagnosed with cancer. Did a couple more tests, flew out here to Boston on May 31st, met with my doctor in Boston, and I was diagnosed with Burkitt's lymphoma. It's a very rare and aggressive form of cancer that doubles in size in 24 hours. So within those 2 weeks, there was biopsies, there was multiple tests, and when I got here, the doctor said, I'm not taking another test, we're starting chemo tomorrow. So June 1st, 2007, I was hospitalized for about 50 plus days on and off. Because it was an aggressive cancer, they had to knock it, they had to be aggressive with the chemo. So I was inpatient for all my chemo, sometimes 5 to 10 days straight, and just completely knocked me down. Here I was training to go play for my 11th year in the NFL, and
this is not what you were expecting.
A month later, I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't get off the couch. My wife Jen was my rock and my #1 nurse, and she stood by my side. And probably a good thing because I don't remember a lot. They call it chemo brain, but I remember bits and pieces. With the support of her by my side, and family and friends, and having looking at my kids and coming home and having a great big belly laugh with my daughter, who's now 17, but knowing that she thought it was absolutely hysterical that Dad was bald. So I'll never forget coming home and my wife looking and saying, "Okay, Brianna, go ahead and let it out," and just a great big belly laugh when I came home because Dad was bald, and of course I lost all my hair, and since then, as you can tell, it grew back, all hanging in there. But overall, just little things like that. But that's a slogan with the foundation. It's the Joe Andruzzi Foundation. Our slogan's upbeat cancer, and staying positive and upbeat is very tough on a daily basis, whether you're dealing with cancer or any type of disease or just life. It's always hard, and staying up, being positive, and being able to smile and laugh. It releases those endorphins that really helps you heal, or really helps you get through everyday struggles.
Having gone through it, do you think people you can't possibly fathom what it's like until you've been actually through it and been diagnosed?
Not really, because it becomes a family ordeal, and it's harder when you see people go through it alone. So I know I was the one getting poked with needles and throwing up and stuff like that, losing my hair, but my wife is by my side, and she had the struggles of taking care of the family and doing multiple things, along with many other people that try to help her and stuff, but it's the families that really, takes a toll on you. And you see it a lot with, I have 5 kids of my own, and if I'm visiting, you see it in the parents' eyes. And I don't want to fathom what they're going through. And, when you look at these kids, they don't know better because that's their life. And you see a lot of these parents, and you can see it in their eyes. And me being a parent, it takes a toll on your heart. And even when you have an adult going through it, you try and just pick their spirits up, hang out with them, and maybe show them a ring or 2 or 3 or 4.
Everyone's saying this. We could see another one this year. So you told us your story. Is that going to be the basis of your talk at Biff?
That's the start of it, and then how you battle through life, and dealing with the certain adversities of comparing my life to normal everyday life on ups and downs, whether it was me getting injured or getting cut or turning around and being told I would never make it a day in this league, and scrounged out 10 years. I strived on proving people wrong, but also knowing that there's life after football, and after my career was cut short, unfortunately, because of cancer. But my wife Jen and I have really turned the Joe Andruzzi Foundation into truly something remarkable, and being able to see the families out there 10 years worth, and knowing that I can go pump gas and get a hug from a stranger, or go into a hospital and see people we've helped, and no matter what it is, it's very rewarding. And knowing how you move through life, whether it's something that if I battled cancer, somebody might have battled something else, but keep moving forward every day. With my foundation, we were at the Boston Marathon in 2013, and knowing that we were standing probably about 20 yards away from the first bomb site, my wife and I, and realizing about an hour later that the second bomb went off right at our watch party, right in front of Forum Restaurant. And it was tough for us as a group. My wife, prior to that, was standing right next to Martin Richard. And you can't really focus in on that. It's hard, but you turn around and you just know that you got to move forward, and there's more good to do in this world, and keep paying it forward in the many ways that we can, and helping more and more families and individuals out there. And we're at over 7,000 now. We want to help more, make that get another digit on there, and keep moving forward as a person, and knowing that the everyday struggles, that it's gonna take a toll on you, but you can battle back.
Well, last question while you're in here. I'm sure you've seen all the press with football players and concussions and post-career kind of health. How much of a concern is that to players?
Nowadays, it's a big concern. You see guys retiring earlier. You never really know. I think back just from watching all the information now, and how nothing was noted during my playing days until my last few years, and it wasn't even a big issue at that time. I retired in '07, so it started a few years before that. But knowing that I once took a hit and walked off to the other team's sidelines, and it's scary, because I'm sure it does take a toll on you. It's kind of comparable if you sprain your ankle and you see all that bruising, but your brain's getting joggled in there, and you don't see any bruising, so you don't know how bad of a injury it is until certain other issues. But nowadays they're on top of it, and the trainers are really doing a great job of holding players out and getting a better understanding of where they're at, and having a baseline test is pretty great, because then you get to compare it with something.
So is that the key, making sure that they get the rest needed and trying to identify it? Is that where the league is at this point, and trying to address it from a player standpoint?
Yeah, because you gotta identify it first, and nobody wants to make that tough decision, because I know as a player, I didn't want to come out.
You want to stay in.
I want to stay in, and me being a rookie free agent, you don't make the team on a sideline or in a training room, and you have to be out there, and so being out there is going to help your chances of making the team year in and year out. So a lot of these guys still think like that, especially if you're a low man on a totem pole. And you turn around and most of these guys, if they are joggled a little bit, the trainers are there, and they're equipped, and they've they know if there's an issue and pull somebody out, and you do the evaluation. You got the doctors on the sidelines, and everybody's evaluating them, and when they get off the field, they'll put them through some more tests.
Really make sure.
You really got to make sure, because if something's not checked, then it falls back on them, and they want to be secure in their decisions.
What do you think about the Patriots getting their own planes? Do you wish you had your own plane?
Yeah, I wish I was 10 years younger, or maybe a little bit more than that, 15.
The news came out, of course, we picked it up, and the exciting thing here, of course, is that they're looking to fly out of green, which is great. But it sounds like they're going to fit the planes, seats fully, going back. Is this going to be big? It's
going to fit the players, because when we flew, it was, take 2 seats up, spread your legs. So they're talking about this a first class airplane, right? So
was legroom really kind of an issue as we're sitting here in the chairs?
For some of us, yeah. I mean, I just made it, but this guy's bigger than me. But having the open seat next to you always helped too. But I think the planes, the Crafts have done a great job with that organization, and they had the opportunity to do it, and now they're going to be flying in style, I guess. So.
Do you think other teams will follow suit?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't see why not. I mean, especially the big name teams out there. I'm sure Jerry Jones is jealous right now. And
he's like, oh, wait, we have a jumbotron.
Yeah.
Can I trade that in for a plane?
Plane's next. I'm sure a big star on it. But we'll see. I mean, there's going to be other teams in the near future, but they know what they're doing, and they have the people behind them, and especially with Bill and Tom still at the helm right now. Maybe some of us alumni players will be invited to take a flight.
Maybe some press. Maybe some press
sure.
too. Call me. Couple of last questions while we have you in here. Do you think that they're looking at a good season this year, the Pats?
They're looking at a great season.
Oh yeah.
They. I recently one of our part of the foundation. We have upbeat outings, and we brought patients and their families over to Patriots training camp 2 weeks ago, and. Yeah, the bunch of smiles. Spread the smiles. I mean, I was in that hospital room, and those walls close in on you. So to be able to go out there and spread the smiles, have some guys come over and sign autographs, take photos. They looked really good that day, and we're thankful enough to have the Patriots Chapel Foundation tent donated to us to get some shade for everybody. But looking at the players there, they're moving around great. They're staying. They got to stay healthy. That's number one.
That's number one.
Once everybody stays healthy, then one game at a time. That's what it comes down to, and you can't focus in on right now. Preseason's helping the players develop, but I think a guy named Tom Brady is pretty much developed and a majority of the game, but he still thinks he goes out there every day and practices and studies as if he needs to do better, and that's what makes him a remarkable player.
Well, all eyes here are on. There's some other fans here. There's some Giants fans. I don't know. There's some Yankees fans. We don't hold that against you being from New York and all.
I grew up with fans, but now I made home out here, so I had to switch over. But I think Rhode Island's that cusp. I mean, the Patriots weren't here, quite a few years ago, and that's all they had.
Well, anyone who's a real NFL fan likes the Patriots. And final question, do you watch Ballers, and is that what it's really like?
I heard, but I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen Ballers?
No, I haven't seen Ballers yet.
I was hoping to be like, is that really what it's like?
I heard some of it, a friend of mine watched it, and said there's a lot of similarities. But I'm sure it's not 100% because they got to make a show of it. But
gin it up a little bit.
Yeah, why not? Well, we'll just ask Bill to put a camera in the locker room and hang out, follow a camera around one of the players for a week.
Would Bill ever go for that? Something tells me.
I don't think so, but
Something tells me no.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you probably don't want to see on TV. It really happens. So it's not a great reality show.
Well, I appreciate your coming in to tell your story. Give folks a little bit of the preview of what you're going to be talking about at BIF in September. Again, if you're watching live, thanks for tuning in. After the fact, we'll have this spliced. We'll have all the links up to BIF. You can see Joe when he's back here in Providence. So you come to Providence a lot. What are the highlights? Where do you like to go?
Oh, I love going to Federal Hill. I gotta get some food. As you can tell, I like my meals. But I'm always in Providence, and I come down here a lot, whether it's my kids' school or it's for dinner or events, and I do some work out of Providence also. So it's a regular trek for me. So it's I don't mind coming down here. I love the area, and if get a chance, we go. There's many places, great places to eat, many great places to hang out.
That's true.
Oh yes, and if it wasn't for me being locked into Massachusetts, we would probably move down here. But
very, very interesting. Well, we
Okay.
appreciate getting that side, especially with the Pats. They stay here when it's conference championships, flying out of green. And of course, all the work you're doing. If you see Joe around Providence, give him a big hug for all that he's doing with the foundation. But again, you can hear his story at BIF in September. So we're probably going to move the chairs around for our next guest. We couldn't stand up because Joe's height here, but it was great having him here in studio talk. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best.
All right, we'll see you at BIF.
Joe.